Hello, Eagle parents. Welcome to our weekly update. I am going to try to make this one under 5 minutes. So here we go. All right. Again, what a week. It didn't come without challenges. Obviously, this week our challenge was the internet. It went in, it went out, it went in, and then eventually it went out all day yesterday. So as you can imagine, we are completely dependent on the internet, not only to deliver instruction to our students, but for even our most simple tasks like taking attendance and communicating with families via our phones are connected, via email. So it was very challenging for us, but we are super glad that Ben King and Heart Communications were able to reestablish our internet connection, and we're hopeful that, knock on wood, that remains consistent throughout the year. That said, if we missed a few communications yesterday because our email was down, our phones were down, we apologize. Don't be afraid to reach out to me this weekend via email, and I will get back to you. Okay. So moving on, COVID numbers. All right. So we had 2 positive this week, 1 quarantined, 7 symptomatic, and 12 returned. And I want to explain that return number a little bit because that seems weird to have more return than we're actually quarantined. But the way that the return works is if a student's symptomatic, they go on the symptomatic list. Let's say they're symptomatic on Monday, but then they come back with a negative test on Wednesday, and we take them off that symptomatic list and put them on the return list. So that number can be a little bit higher. So just so you're aware of that. Along those lines, testing, the rapid tests are not quite as rapid as we'd like. Our providers are telling us 24 to 48 hours to get those back, so please be mindful of that. And then item number 3, mask up. We did a really good job earlier in the year last week keeping those masks up, but then this week toward the end, as kids were getting frustrated with different things, I think the masks were coming down more. But to be effective, they've got to be over the nose and cover the mask. So just so you know, that's something that we continue to emphasize with the students. Um, Also, home tests, the type of test that you buy at Walgreens over the counter, those are not valid to return to school. I just wanted you to be aware of that before you go out and spend that money. Instructional videos. So we have a couple of instructional videos. Well, back to what prompted these videos was we had our back to school night on Monday. We had a great turnout. We're so thankful to see you guys again. I know it's been a while since you've been back in school or into the building, but it was great to see everybody buzzing around, getting from class to class, and meeting the new teachers and new staff, because we do have a bunch of new staff if you consider the new staff we added last year and then the new staff we added this year. So really happy to see you guys. And as always, it prompts a few questions. And the first question that came up was, hey, my spouse does not get the email communications from you and they'd like to. So I put a little video here about how you can do that. You can add an address to your student's Power School account. That way that the email updates will go to them. So check that out. That's about 2-minute video. And the other question I got was, how do I sign on as an observer to my students' Canvas pages? And Mrs. Ryan, who does a really good job with us in Canvas and does some of our professional development for our staff on Canvas, has created a 2-minute video there on how you can join your students' Canvas page and keep up with their assignments and their due dates and whatnot. So check those out when you get time. I'll link those in the email as well. Um, Yearbooks, always a big question this time of year. The yearbooks did come in. We have been disseminating our yearbooks out to those students who order them. If you know a graduate, they can come into the office and pick those up. We do have a few left over from 2021, so I'm going to say a handful of those. If you'd like to purchase one of those, they're $55, and you can talk to Mr. Beckman. I've included his email here for you. Um, Also, middle school yearbooks have started to filter over. I think we got DMSs today, so we'll pass those out to our freshmen next week during lunch. And then I would just say encourage you to order a yearbook, because every year we get the same question, mostly from moms. Did my son or daughter order a yearbook? And sometimes we have to tell them no, they didn't order one, and they get frustrated. They ask if we can reorder one, and there's no reorders on a yearbook. So we do order a few extras, but those usually go pretty fast. So I would say if getting a yearbook is important to you, because it may not be important to your student now, but as we know as parents, it'll be important to them in 5, 10, 15 years. They'll want that yearbook. I would encourage you to pursue that yourself and make sure that gets ordered. Now, that being said, we are not taking orders for yearbooks yet for this year, but we will in the next several weeks, and we'll be sure to make that announcement so you're aware of that. Introduction. So the next thing comes up because I have a lot of correspondence with many of you on email, but I've never seen you. So I think sometimes I see you at a game or at the grocery store, and you kind of like you wave reluctantly, like, and but I may not know you. So my point in this email is like, hey, if you see me out and about at a game or at the grocery store, or the gas station, or whatever, it's never a bad time to come over and introduce yourself and tell me who your students are. And normally when that happens, I will just make a quick note in my phone of who I met and who their students are, and I'll come back and look them up in Power School and make that connection. So, like I said, I just encourage you to introduce yourself. Like I said, never a bad time. So, always happy to meet new uh, Dunlap parents. And the last item on the agenda is week, or this next week. So, we have Pictures Day on Thursday, I believe, September 2nd. So, that'll be for all students, and the makeup day is not until late in October. So, be prepared for that. And then, super excited about our first home football game next week. Uh, that again will also symbolize a sense of normalcy to our students. One, but two, it's just such a great event for Dunlap High School because we get so many of our students involved. Not only does our freshman football team play at 5 o'clock, our varsity plays at 7:30, but we have this huge and wonderful band and all the participants there. As many times our choir sings the national anthem. We have a super competitive dance team, and we have a really large and excellent cheer team. So all those students get to participate. The community comes out, particularly for the first one. It's just a great environment, and really looking forward to that. So I encourage you to be part of that as well. And it'll be great to see our kids in the stands again. So until next week, Dunlap, you stay healthy and you stay classy. Take care.